Whoa. Hi, friends. Welcome to Air to Earth Tarot. I'm Ange, and today we're reading for Taurus for December 2020. I didn't bother with the whole general reading spiel, but general readings means that it can't resonate for everyone. But I guess, you know what? It's more important for me to say, if you haven't watched the video that I put out, it's about 5 or 6 minutes, just in terms of talking about how I'm going to be reading differently in the future. That actually covers the whole resonating stuff. So just watch that video and you'll see how I'm trying to make tarot and any other tool that is seen as religious or mystical or whatever, spiritual. I want people to understand that those terms should not make you feel like you are excluded from using these things to explore your own existence and life and meaning and all that wonderful philosophical stuff. What's going on? All of a sudden there's bugs here. So make sure you check out that video and you'll know what I'm talking about. Also, I will be putting out some podcast episodes that talk in depth about these things and what I believe to be new age spirituality and how I think we're progressing as a human race in these departments. Hi there. How you doing?
Okay, so another lovely day.
So beautiful. I'm loving it. Have a good one. Gotta love North Carolina. So yeah, check out that video and you'll see what I'm talking about. But I think that these things should be as inclusive as possible. So I'm going to read in a way that I think makes that more of a reality. So anyway, who are we on? Taurus. Wonderful, wonderful, earthy Taurus. So let's get it going. These, like I said, are general readings for the month of December 2020. We are pulling 2 cards for love, 2 cards for career, and 2 cards for personal development. So let's see what we have for Taurus, December 2020. I was watching Princess and the Frog last night, and I can't get, first of all, I love, of course, the Shadow Man, and he's reading tarot, and just cool shit, very cool. But I love the songs that he sings. That's scary. Oh, yeah. It's in my mind. In my head, rather. Anyway, Taurus. What do we have for Taurus for December 2020? What do we have for Taurus? So you'll notice that one of the major differences in how I'm reading is more questions, less statements. And I think that that's a more honest way of deciphering all this stuff. Because we are more powerful than we think. And any psychological tool, including therapy, is designed to have you come up with your own solutions with support and help and assistance and all of that. But the answers are within, because nobody knows you better than you. So I want to frame the readings more as questions to help you navigate yourself. So instead of cards telling you about yourself, because I don't think that was the point. So what do we have for Taurus? What do we have for Taurus? We got the 6 of Swords in reverse so far. What do we have for Taurus? And the Knight of Swords. Interesting. What else do we have for Taurus, December 2020? What do we have for Taurus, December 2020? Eight of Wands. Four of Cups for career. And personal development for Taurus, December 2020. Eight of Swords. Nine of Swords. Okay. Okay, so in love, we got the Six of Swords in reverse, but I'll show it to you upright. And the Knight of Swords, which is kind of an oxymoron in terms of energy. So, Taurus, are you coming or going? Or are you going or staying? I think is a better way to put that. So whatever comes to mind when I ask you that question, stay there. Think about it. Stay there in terms of the thought. So it did come out in the love position. So this could very well be in terms of a romantic relationship. Do you stay or do you go? You know, because the Six of Swords is about kind of decisively leaving choppy waters, whether it's of your own accord or just life kind of taking you away from troubled times, just naturally. Sorry, there's a bee. That's what the Six of Swords is about. It's in reverse. So I would challenge you to ask yourself, Taurus, is there a situation where you're thinking about leaving it behind you? And why? And kind of weigh the pros and cons, right? Like, if you're having trouble making a decision, then you got to tip the scales one way or the other. So you can't always know the way things are going to turn out, of course, but you can make the best logical decision possible. And these, I would frame it in terms of logic because they're both swords. So I would just kind of think of it logically, you know. What is the rational way to go about whatever situation comes to mind where you're thinking about going? The Knight of Swords gives me, you kind of know. You know which way you're leaning. So I would think about why you're pushing against that. Why torment yourself, Taurus, by continuing to be in limbo? You know, it seems you probably know which way you're leaning and which way your intuition is pulling you. So that's in love. In career, we got the Eight of Wands and the Four of Cups. We'll start with the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is kind of a hurried kind of energy. Something you feel you need to accomplish, something that has to get done. There's a sense of duty here, driven by like an unwavering passion. So easy. What are you passionate about? Are you passionate in your current endeavors, Taurus? What are you most passionate about? Why do you do what you do? What have you sacrificed? I bring up sacrifice because it's coupled with the Four of Cups, which can be about just emptiness, loss, the things we've had to let go of, sacrifice. So what are you willing to sacrifice for your passions? I guess would be a good way to put that, Taurus. What goes on that list? What matters most to you? Because life can be cruel like that sometimes, where you don't always get to have everything that you want. So you have to choose what's most important. The game of priorities. I feel life is a game of priority. So What do you prioritize, and do you align yourself behind those priorities? Do those priorities show themselves in how you conduct yourself? Excuse the disgusting coughing from my neighbor across the street. Yeah, I think that's more than enough food for thought, Taurus. In personal development, we have the 8 and 9 of Swords. So, in what ways do you hold yourself back, Taurus? Sorry. Insect smoke going up my nose. In what ways do you hold yourself back? Now, in order to answer questions like that, honesty is, you got to be comfortable with discomfort. You got to be comfortable with answers that you don't like, with things not always being the way that you would want them to be or proud of, you know. But in order for self-development to actually take place, you got to be willing to accept the ugly sides of yourself. Taurus. So, that being said, I would challenge you to ask yourself, what habits, thoughts, actions, people, things that you surround yourself with don't do you any good and don't align with, like I said, the things that matter to you most? Are those things in agreement? Why or why not? And then the 9 of Swords, I'm sorry I didn't show you. These are they're really difficult energies. So the 8 of Swords, again, that's that self-imposed limitation. Limiting yourself, doubting yourself. The 9 of Swords is more about just the anxieties that come with getting yourself out of self-limiting thoughts, actions, etc. Tough energies, but necessary. Jesus Christ. But very necessary. Let me just bring this incense closer. Right? So, let's clarify. Can we clarify the 6 of Swords in reverse and the Knight of Swords for Taurus, December 2020? Spirits, guides, angels, ancestors. Of Swords in reverse and the Knight of Swords. Oh. Got the 5 of Pentacles. Again, let me clarify the rest. Let's clarify the 8 of Wands and the 4 of Cups, please. Why is the 8 of Wands here with the 4 of Cups? Queen of Pentacles. And the 8 and 9 of Swords in personal development. Can you clarify those, please? Thank you. Ace of Wands in reverse. Okay. So, in love, we have the 5 of Pentacles. So again, Taurus, I would ask you, if you leave a situation that you may have been pondering, should I stay, should I go? Why or why not? What you would be sacrificing in either case. That's another way to kind of weigh the pros and cons. What would it cost me to stay? What would it cost me to go? And then, like I said, weigh it up against that priority list. What matters more? Yeah, I think the cards sum that up better than I could have. So, what matters more? What matters most? And what am I giving up if I stay? What am I giving up if I go? In career, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So, again, it's kind of a similar line of questioning, which is, how do you maximize your potential? How do you maximize your resources? What does that look like? The Queen of Pentacles can also be about like give and take, finding that balance between, give and take between the people around you. How much of yourself do you give? How much of yourself is a reflection of your priorities? So let me give an example. If the most important thing to you is family and your relationships with family, right? Then how does the way that you communicate with your family reflect that, right? When they ask you for something, how you respond, how does that reflect them being the most important thing to you, if that's the case? This is just a hypothetical, but that's what I mean in terms of this line of questioning, Taurus. That's what seems to be the theme here. So I would love for you to think about that in the month of December, Taurus. Give and take, and how you can align that best to what actually matters most to you. But first, you have to identify what matters most to you. People think it's a parent a lot of the time, and it's not. It's not a parent at all. There are very, very, very different things that can matter most. So identify that, think about it, identify it within yourself, and then look at the different areas in your life. Look at your give and take pendulum, and see how you can kind of adjust based on what you've identified to be the most important things to you. And in self-development, we have the Ace of Wands in reverse. But I'll show it to you upright, clarifying those swords energies, those tough energies we were talking about. So, again, it's a question of passion, of what you do with freedom, So a lot of times, and I know this isn't the most pleasant to hear, but a lot of times we keep ourselves in an anxious, of course not knowingly, but it is convenient to stay in a sort of lowly state of in an uninspired space, because oftentimes our potential scares us more than our lack of productivity. So just think about that. What would it look like if you got out of your own way? What would that look like? What would you create? What would you be passionate about? What would you be driving? What would you be behind? What would your message be, figuratively speaking, to the world? What would you want to see? What would you create? So worth thinking about, Taurus, especially for the month of December. What advice do we have for Taurus for the month of December? What advice do we have for Taurus for the month of December 2020? Honeybee. Let compassion and forgiveness be your top priority in this situation. So whatever comes to mind, Taurus, whatever came to mind, whatever you ended up thinking about during the course of this video, let compassion and forgiveness guide you. Guide your decision making, whether to stay or go. Compassion and forgiveness. And remember that can be for yourself, just to complicate things a little more. So think it over, but let compassion and forgiveness guide you, which sometimes we have to choose whether to be more rational or whether to be more compassionate, to think with this or to think with this. So again, just to complicate things a little more for you, Taurus. I'm sure whatever you choose will be good in the long run. Give it some thought and do your best. Thank you so much for watching, Taurus. I will see you next month. Bye.